What's pain? Seems like it has many definitions. It goes from extremes like having a broken heart to getting cut by a knife in the kitchen. Or like when daddy never showed up and all you had was mama growing up. Or that time all the kids laughed at you in class. Seems like pain makes you reminisce on the past. Reminiscing about all the bad things that I've ingrained in my brain, life lessons that took shots at my heart for this knowledge I've obtained. I hate pain, but I'm grateful for what it is because without it, I wouldn't know what courage is. The ability to move forward and walk in my truth. Even with pain, I was still able to forge through. Thankful for all I lost and everything I gained. Thanks to growth, I can finally appreciate pain. Hi, my name is Kayla Quimbley. I am 23 years old from Georgia, and I am a spoken word poet living with HIV. I wonder if I were a poem, would you read me or turn the page? Would you wonder why my lines are so long or why this particular page has stains? I put a lot of personal things in my poems, but one distinct memory that I had for when I first started actually doing poetry public was sharing my story living with HIV through a poem. And with that poem, I just basically told people how it feels to be young, Black, and a woman living with HIV. Or multiple refrains that read the pain that is the story of my life. Would you turn to me and look me in my eyes? I contracted HIV from my mother. I was born with HIV and my mother had me vaginally. There is a way that you can be born from a mother who is HIV positive and still be birthed and be HIV negative. In the South, sometimes technology and medical advancement can be a little delayed. So during that time, I don't think the knowledge of having a C-section was prominent in the South. So we didn't know that, hey, we can have a C-section to prevent from your baby contracting HIV during that time. I feel remorse for me and turn a blind eye. If I were a poem, I would read a script of passion and pain and the scene of Romeo and Juliet on constant replay. When I was in 5th grade, I had a teacher who taught sex ed, and not knowing that there were any students in her class that were living with HIV, she said that you shouldn't have sex or you'll catch AIDS and die. And that was my first realization of what stigma was. I would be the poem that makes your heart melt and freeze and cause you to feel a buckle in your knees. I would be the poem that makes you feel anxiety and love at the same time. Honestly, in my household growing up, HIV was not something that was to be discussed outside of the home, just because it was more so like not wanting everybody in our business just because of the stigma that is associated with HIV. So I was kind of more so taught like, hey, don't tell anyone, it's a secret, you know, you keep it to yourself. But in the home, my mom was always obviously my biggest support. That was my confidant, my diary, my counselor. She got me through a lot of my tough times, depression, suicidal thoughts, all those things. She carried me throughout that time, and I think it was also because she understood in a sense of how I was feeling and where I was coming from. My mom's actually supported me here, so maybe she'll come over and have a seat with me. My mom didn't know she was HIV positive when she got pregnant with me, so it was news for her to go and get tested and find out that she was living with HIV. Not only that, but also learning that she might potentially have a baby that could be HIV positive. So she was dealing with a lot and navigating through a lot of emotions during that time.
I was 18 years old when I was diagnosed. I was pregnant with Kayla. When I first learned of my diagnosis, at the age of 18, I was terrified. I was scared. I thought I was going to die. Technology was not very great when I was 18. That was 1999. My mom was scared. I didn't have any resources, nobody to really talk to. Learning of Kayla's diagnosis, it made me feel that I was being diagnosed with HIV again. It was like having 2 diagnoses in one person. When I see Kayla, I see a version of myself. A lot of times when you see her, you see me. And she's done a great job, and I'm very proud of her, very proud of her.
The poem that makes you reread its lines. I'd be the poem you wish you read. So what I would say to someone who's living with HIV but is scared to open up or talk about it or even share it publicly, I would say that your journey is your journey, and if you don't want to share that with the public, you don't have to. But I would say that it's okay to be at peace within. You don't need other people to validate who you are. You don't need other people to validate your experience. I would say that living with HIV is mind over matter, and know that your life has purpose, it has meaning, that you are worthy of love, you are deserving of love, and that you will be loved, that you are loved. And that you should keep your head up and keep pushing, because this is only the beginning.